Hey guys, this is Lauren from My Something Beautiful Life, and today I'm going to show you the new 2022 Power Sheets from Cultivate What Matters. I am going to show you the accessories first, but I'll put a timestamp down below if you want to skip over that and just go straight to the Power Sheets. I know I always like to see what new accessories they come out with and see the details about them. And they actually don't have a ton of accessories to show you, and so it should go pretty fast, but for those that want to see, I will show you the ones I have and explain any details that I know about them. And if you have any questions, leave them in the description box below. You guys always have the best questions and things that I wouldn't have even thought of. So go ahead and ask them and I will answer to the best of my abilities. So I'm going to put the Power Sheets aside for just a second and I'll show you these and then we will go right back to the Power Sheets. Okay, so the first thing I have, you have probably seen these, and these are probably what I'm the most excited about. They have new snap-in accessories. So the first one I have is this bookmark. It just has the little sprout thing on it. It is long. It goes all the way through the whole length of the Power Sheets, and it snaps in really easily. This is definitely one of my new favorites. The second snap-in accessory is a wildcard page. So for anyone who's not familiar with what wildcards are, they are a set. You can either buy them or they have free printable ones that you can just print online. They're like extra pages that you can put in to supplement your Power Sheets. And they have everything from meal planning and finance pages to more room to break down your goals. They have regular notes pages and decluttering. Like they have all kinds of different pages that you can choose to print off. And so this is a new accessory they have. It is like the full size of the Power Sheets page. On the side of it, it has the little tab that says wildcard so you can find it easily. And then again, it just snaps in just like the bookmark does. All right, and then I actually want to show you the pouches first. So this is the same pouch that they've had for, I know they had it last year. I think they may have had a different kind the year before. But this is pretty much identical to the ones that they had last year. They just have some new colors. So you can see they have the little sprout there. It has a really nice zipper on the top. The inside of this, I think it's sky blue or something like that. I don't remember the exact name of the color, but it's the blue one, the light blue. The inside of it is also just blue, and the strap on the back is a little bit more of an aqua color. And so I picked the blue because last year I bought all three. If you saw my accessories from last year, I got a lot more accessories last year. But this year I just got a few of the things that, they're the things that I knew that I would use after what I used last year. This was definitely one that I loved. And honestly, I wasn't even going to get the pouches, but I got what was called the custom bundle. So if you order, I don't know if it's only on launch day. I think it might be available all the time. But they have like a custom bundle. They might have different options that sell out. So if you're going to do it, I would definitely recommend doing it on launch day, which is October 6th, by the way, because I don't think I mentioned that before. But yeah, I ended up getting the custom bundle, and that came with both of the pouches, and I think it comes with 5 accessories. So, or 5 other accessories besides the pouches. So you get one of each pouch and then 5 more accessories. So I picked the blue pouch because it was a color I didn't have. I really liked the Blooms one too, but because it looked so similar to my Blooms one from last year, I decided to get something a little different. And the blue was a new color that I didn't have yet. So I got the blue regular accessory pouch. I really love these for holding in the accessories that I get. I'll put the washi tape in it, and the sticker books fit in it really nicely. I can even show you that. Maybe I can if I can get a grip on it. Anyway, yeah, the sticker books fit in them now. I think the first ones that they did, the sticker books didn't fit in it very well, but they've made them a little bit bigger, and so the sticker books are great now. So it's nice to have it all together, and I really liked doing this last year with having all of my Power Sheets specific accessories here in one of these pouches. I love that the washi tape and the stickers, they all match the inside of the Power Sheets, and so I like keeping them together so that I always have them ready and nearby. But then this pouch is actually new this year, and this thing is huge. I don't even know if you can tell, like sometimes it's hard to tell how big things are through the video. but this is big enough to hold the entire Powersheets. So like here's mine from last year, which they're the same size as last year's. But you can see how much bigger this pouch is than the Powersheets itself. So this thing is actually big enough that you could put in your Powersheets and the accessory pouch with all your accessories in it, or just throw them in by themselves, like without the accessory pouch. I like that because then it keeps them all together. But yeah, it fits in there easily. Like you can just put everything in there and keep it all together. I mean, even with the washi tape in the tube, it still zips up. Although I probably would not keep it that way, just because it looks so bulky. But yeah, I love that it all goes together. And personally, in general, I'm just a huge fan of any sort of bags and pouches and things like that. And so I absolutely love getting things like this, because even if you don't use it for your Powersheets, which honestly, I probably won't keep my Powersheets in a pouch. What I have generally done is I just take these, the accessory pouches, and I keep it on my cover, and then I do just have my accessories with my Powersheets, and that has been working perfectly for me, and so that's probably what I'll keep doing. But I love the pouches because you can use them for so many other things. You can use them when you travel, or for if you're going to like school or work, you can carry them around. I like using bags like this to keep my like electronic cords in, like my chargers and stuff like that, just to keep them all in one place. But yeah, the possibilities are endless what you can do with pouches, and so honestly, there's no downside for me for getting pouches. So if you have questions about this pouch specifically, just because it's so new, make sure you let me know, because I'm happy to answer anything I can. I don't have the exact measurements of it, but you can see how big it is compared to the accessory pouch. There's the sticker book. Well, let's just stack them all. There's the large pouch with the Powersheets, the accessory pouch, and then the sticker book. So if that helps give you an idea of how big it is, like, it's really big. It's even bigger than I was expecting. Once I got it, I realized just how huge it is. So that's the other new accessory that I have to show you, in addition to the snap-ins. And then the last things I have the washi tape and the sticker book still. Let's do the sticker book. We'll flip through that. Okay, so I can tell there's something different about these sticker books. I think they have the basic things that the last one had. Let me grab that. So that's the one I used. Okay. Yeah, like you can tell I got 2 sticker books. I always get 2 because I'm always paranoid I'm going to run out of stickers that I love. And so, yeah, I got 2 last year too. They are the same size, but if you look sideways, they are different thicknesses. And I don't think it's less pages. I think it's the paper, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I think it's a thinner paper, but it's just different. It's not bad. Okay, so these are the ones from last year. And I brought this out because I wanted to show you the differences with the colors. Last year, that was one of the main questions I got, was how the colors were different from the year before. And so I wanted to show you those. So here's last year's. And the stickers in it, okay, they kind of have the same feel. Okay, so it is like, I don't want to call it glossy. It's not glossy. It's really smooth. It's not a paper sticker. Like if you know like regular paper stickers that you get that you can write on with a normal pen, that's not what this sticker paper is. I was thinking they were kind of more like a cardstock. These aren't quite as thick as that, but these are like really thick stickers. They're not just normal paper. They have a little bit of a smoother texture to them, which leads me to what this one is that I think the difference is. These ones feel very much like vinyl stickers. And I'm thinking like Chrissy Ann Designs type stickers. That's what this feels like to me. The paper, I can definitely tell that the paper is thinner between the two, that these ones were thicker, but I think I kind of like this one better actually. So I think it's going to be just fine, but do know that these ones I think are a little bit thicker last year than the ones that they have this year. They definitely changed their paper. But just to flip through it, these are so pretty, and I love their flowers from this year. They're kind of different than some of the ones that they've done before. They still have the same Cultivate What Matters vibe, but they have a little bit of a different feel. But I love them. I think they're gorgeous. And I love the colors, like the contrast of this pink and the green, I think is really pretty. And I love like this peach color. So here you have your little quote stickers. And these are gold foiled. You have some washi strips. Here's the page flags, which, okay, so I'll show you the color differences for anybody who's interested in that. So you can see they did do some, there's a couple of them that are majorly different. Some of them just shifted a little bit. They're all in different orders, I've noticed. So like this red is totally gone. They have the peach that's a little bit different. The yellow's a little different. This pink is different. This like coral type color is different. And then they brought in this orange to replace this red, which I actually think this is kind of an orangish red. But now it's very orange. I really like these ones. Oh, and they have the lime green. This one's a little bit darker. This one's a little bit darker. And then these are actually pretty similar. Like those aren't super different. So there are some changes. Like this color and this one are completely new. And most of them are just kind of variations. But I really like these colors. I think these colors actually match better with each other than these ones did. And so just overall, I think these are just really pretty. Anyway, so you get 2 sheets of the flags, which I love these for like the goal refreshes. You can keep color coding your stickers. Or sorry, you can keep color coding your goals throughout the year and keep the colors the same. Here, these ones are little dots, if you can see the cutouts where the little circles are. And they did the same thing this year that I did not like last year, which was they have the dots staggered like this. I think they easily could have lined up these like in a row so that they could have fit a lot more dots in here. It feels kind of like wasted space to me. It seems like there's plenty of room for more of them. So I wish they had done that. I was kind of disappointed about that last year, and so I was sad when I saw that it was the same this year. That's why I buy 2 books, because I want to make sure I don't run out of stickers. So you get 2 sheets of the dots, and then, get it, oh come on, okay. And then you get some hearts. So if you can see these ones are little hearts, all in the same colors for color coding. And there's 1 sheet of those. These are some new ones that they have, and these go along with something that we'll talk about when we get into the power sheets. These are icons that go with each of the categories for the Cultivated Life evaluation, that page that they have. They've had this page as long as I've been using power sheets, but this year they've put a lot more emphasis on it. And so here you have icons that are color coordinated with those categories, and they each have a little icon that goes with it if you want to see them up close. So those are really cute. We'll see if I use them, and I'll explain that, but they are really cute. And then these ones, they've started a new thing where there are 3 types of goals, and so these go with the 3 types of goals. So there's little icons for each of those. And then you just have some more pages of stickers that you can use throughout your power sheets. These little arrows are probably some of my favorite things, especially these My Priority ones. I use these ones all the time in my power sheets to point out the goals that I'm most focused on working on. So I love that. I love that there's gold stars. Here's some more little decorative stickers. These are kind of fun. I like the little shaded boxes. And then the quotes in Laura's handwriting, which I love these too. These are fun. So anyway, overall, I'm really happy with the sticker book. I don't regret getting 2. I love stickers, and so I will probably always get 2 of them. All right, and then the last accessory I have to show you is the tending tape, or washi tape essentially. This year they released 2 different kinds, which I think is really fun. This one, if you saw that their new linen cover, this one I think was made to go with that, just in case you wanted washi tape that was more neutral. But I think these are really pretty. I love the gold foiling on it. I'm not even usually a huge fan of gold, but these were just really pretty. And in fact, I was originally just going to get this one and not get the colorful one, but I decided to get the colorful one anyway. But yeah, I love these. Some of these might be kind of hard to see in the camera. And honestly, I'm not sure how they're going to show up on paper very well either. Let's see if it'll show up. But this is like a flower pattern, but it's really faint on there. It's just kind of like an off-white color, but it just barely shows up. It's really pretty. I'm just curious to see how it shows up on paper. This one is the little sprout with the gold foil. Here we have a gold pinstripe, and then this one is a flower foiled. This is my favorite one. I love this one. I think that's gorgeous. And then here's another one that's like that off-white color. And this is actually the same pattern as the pouch. Let me grab it. So if you see the pattern on the large pouch, that's kind of the pattern that's on here. If you can see it. I think that's showing up. I think that's really pretty. And I'm kind of curious. Okay. Okay, so I just grabbed my Powersheets and... Okay, so here's a page that I haven't written on. Let's not balance it on there. Just because I kind of want to see what these look like on paper. Oh, those actually show up pretty well. Okay. I'm actually impressed. I did not think that was going to show up nearly as well as it does. So it's harder to see on the roll and looking at it, but it does show up on paper. So if you can see, there's the little, I don't know what they call that pattern. It's like little teeny flowers. It's almost like a mixture of flowers and the confetti pattern from a couple years ago. All right, and then there's that flowered pattern one. So yeah, I don't know if it's showing up in the camera, but they do actually show up much better on paper than I expected. And then for the colored ones, let's see. Here's the ones that come in the brighter set. So you have this green leaf pattern, blue with gold foil. I love this flower pattern. This is their new blooms pattern that's on the cover of the other Powersheets, and it's on the accessory pouch and the sticker book and all of that. But I think that's really pretty. I'm not even going to bother rolling that up nicely. There's a pink with sprouts. This is actually like the coral pink, which is the same color as my Powersheets. But yeah, it's like a really bright, like almost neon pink with the sprout. And then here's that same little flowered pattern again, and this one is like blues and teals. So that one's kind of hard to see on the roll, but that's pretty. So yeah, I love getting the washi tape because I like having my decorations on the inside match the Powersheets themselves. So between having the stickers and the washi tape, I just feel like everything's cohesive and it just makes my heart happy. All right, guys, let me show you the Powersheets. So the first thing I want to show you is I actually have two different covers to show you so you can kind of see the difference in case you wanted one or the other. So this year, because it's the 10-year anniversary of Powersheets, they have created these keepsake boxes that each of the Powersheets are coming in, and they are so pretty. I love when planners come with boxes like this because they're useful for so many things, and I'm always keeping stickers and just all kinds of other planner accessories in them. Or you can use them as like keepsake boxes and keep little mementos and pictures in it, or even just save it and keep your Powersheets in it later. But I think these are so pretty, and I just wanted to show these to you before I open them up. So this is the Clear Skies, I think. Blue skies, clear skies. I think it's clear skies. So I just wanted to show you this cover. This is the blue in case anybody wanted to see that one. It's really pretty. It's like a light baby blue. And you can see here's the blue pouch with it. So they're almost identical. This one is slightly lighter, but they're pretty similar. So if you wanted things that are the same color, I would definitely think you could get away with these being the same. So the inside of the Powersheets are all the same no matter which cover you get, with the exception of the linen. And as far as I can tell, the only difference about that one is that the tabs are all white. So in this one, the tabs are colored. Same with my coral pink one. But the linen cover, I believe, has white tabs with gold foil. So that's the only difference that I know of with the interior. So really just pick the cover you want, because really you can't go wrong. They're all beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna put this one away, and then we're gonna go through the pink one. But I just wanted to show you that color just in case that's the one that you were interested in. And again, like I said, I have the coral pink. So the box is pink with the gold foil. All of the boxes are coordinated to match the planner inside. So there's 6 different boxes to go with the 6 different covers. So there's the pink. And this color is so pretty. I actually love it so much more than I even did just looking at it online. I love coral. Like when they said it was coral pink, I was sold, because coral is just one of my favorite colors. It is a very bright coral pink, almost with a fluorescent tone to it, but I think it's really pretty and I'm super excited. All of the linen covers are water resistant, I guess. You can pour water on it and it'll, or probably other liquids, and it should just wipe right off. The same is true for the covers of last year. And they have the gold foiling right here. They have the gold 00 wire binding, which I will always say is not my favorite. It's actually probably one of my least favorites. I really wish they would bring back the coil, but I do love the quality of this. I mean, you can see mine from last year. It barely looks touched, except for like the things that I've done to it. But I mean, it still looks brand new. That's just how well these covers hold up. And I throw this thing like all over the place, so I'm not really careful with my planners. They kind of just get tossed around. So one thing I can definitely say for them is that they are durable. If you want to see the size difference, they're pretty close to the same size from last year to this year. I almost think this year's is a touch thinner, but really it's not much of a huge difference. As far as I can tell, it's not something that's super noticeable to me. And the coil binding seems the same size too. But really we know that the inside is what matters. The quality is great. I love that it has amazing quality. But honestly, the whole reason for getting something like this is for the pages on the inside. So for those of you that are new to Powersheets, Powersheets is a goal setting planner that is made to help you focus on what matters the most. So in order to do that, at the beginning of the planner, they have multiple pages of prep work that you go through to try to figure out the things that are important to you and the types of goals that you should be setting, and even education on how to set goals and different types of goals. And then after you go through the prep work and set your goals for the year, they have monthly sections. You can see that they're divided from these tabs. They have a section for each month where you can reevaluate what's going on in your life and set your monthly goals and action steps that you're going to take in order to make more progress on your yearly goals. So it's not just a planner where you write down goals, it's actually a process that you can go through. And I've just found it really helpful in helping me to stay focused on what my goals are for the year. Even when I don't do it perfectly, I mean, none of us are going to do it perfectly. We will all have blank spots on our tending list where we didn't work on anything that we meant to work on, or maybe we didn't work on anything at all. I mean, life happens. But I love that coming back to it each month keeps me focused and remembering that my main purpose and goal is to focus on what really matters. And so this is a planner, but it's more than that. It's not a planner where you're going to put your schedule for the most part. But with all that being said, let's jump in and flip through it. On the inside, you have the Pretty Blooms pattern on the pocket. And I love this peach and how it ties in with the blooms and with the coral on the outside. One thing that I've noticed while looking through this is it seems like a lot of the patterns and just the design style that they did this year is a little bit more minimalistic than it was last year. Last year they had a lot of bright pops of color throughout the whole thing, which is gorgeous. But this year I do like how it is a little bit more simple. They still have the color and the foiling in it, but it just looks a little bit more toned down. Either way, it's always beautiful. They always do an amazing job with the aesthetics of it. So this year on the inside, you will get this goal setting roadmap with a little note from Team Cultivate. And then the word of the year card is back, which is really pretty. And I'm glad they brought this back because this was always one of my favorite things. And I was really sad when they didn't have it last year. So I'm glad that that's back. And then just turning the first page, here you have just a little bit about the company, and you have this seal that they added for their 10 years of Powersheets. And one of my favorites is always that they coil in a sheet of stickers. I just love having it coiled in because then it's just always there. The sticker books don't fit great inside the pocket, so just having a few stickers that come with it is really nice for anybody who doesn't want to get the sticker book, or just to have just a few with you without having to carry the sticker book around. And I love this page. I love the emphasis on the word cultivate that they are using, because last year they used fresh start a lot, which was really great. I mean, after 2020, that's kind of what we were all looking for. But now that there's still a lot that we're dealing with, I think using the word cultivate as a focus is really nice, because it's more like making the most of what you have instead of just trying to change everything. Obviously, we do want to make progress a little at a time, but this helps us be able to grow in the areas that we're in and focus more on the things that we can change instead of the things that we can't change. The first page of the prep work is the goal ideas. And this is probably one of my favorite pages just because it's more of like a brain dump. I love just being able to write down everything I can think of, and then I can sort through it later and figure out what my actual goals are going to be. But I love that it just starts off with just getting all the ideas out of your head. The next page is pretty similar to what was there before. A lot of the things, if they changed it, they just changed the wording of some things. Most of the pages are still the same. There are a few differences, which we'll get to in a minute, but for the most part, the prep work is pretty similar to what it has been in the past. All of the favorite pages that were there before are still there. So here you have your comparison page, and just noticing where comparison comes into your life. And then you have an about me page where you can kind of look at where you're at and where you want to go, the things that are helpful to you. And then this is another one of my favorite pages, the what fires me up, because I love thinking about the things that I love. I mean, that sounds kind of obvious, but sometimes we don't necessarily notice the things that really fire us up. So I love that they made it a page to actually write those things down and notice them, because when we notice them, then we can do them more often. Now this is a page where we get into some of the things that have changed. This page in general was there before, but they've changed the way it works a little bit. First of all, they've added these icons for each category, and they've used this color coding throughout the rest of the planner and even some of their other products. I've always been one to put my goals into categories that helps me navigate through the different areas of my life. And so in general, I like that concept. Personally though, these categories aren't ones that always work for me. And so I will probably be changing it in some way, whether I redo the color code or cross out the categories that I don't want to use. But these just aren't the categories that I usually gravitate towards, so I'll probably end up doing something to make it work for me a little bit better. I really do like this opportunity to reflect on these areas. It gives you space to write down just some of the things that you're thinking of, some places that you're doing well in, and some places that you need to work on. I'm never really good at the rating things on a scale of 1 to 10. That's not my favorite way to evaluate things. So that in general is kind of worthless for me looking at goals. But I love that they have that as an option, because I know for some people that would work really well to give it a numerical value. For me, that's just not something that I do. We'll see how this page actually plays into the later pages with the icons and the colors. They use it more throughout the rest of the planner too. Here's another page that is the same as last year. You have the good things, what worked in the last year, people I'm grateful for, challenges, what didn't work in the last year, and what you learned. This system of evaluating is actually one of my favorites. The noticing the things that work well and then the things that don't, I think is one of the biggest tools that we have in order to make change. When you know the good things that are working, then you can duplicate them and use them in other areas of your life. And when you know what doesn't work, then you know that you need to pivot and change and try something else. This is another page I find really valuable. Where do you limit yourself? What kind of box are you putting yourself in? And how can you break through that? And then similarly over here, it's talking about how your weaknesses can become your strengths and how to move past fear. And so I think all of this is really good at working on the limiting beliefs that we have. And by eliminating those, or at least realizing that we have them and we need to work towards eliminating them, can help us believe in ourselves to accomplish the goals that we actually want to do that maybe we just felt like we couldn't do before. And here we start talking about the big picture. This goes into, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be known for? What do you want to spend your life doing? So many years from now, if you were to look back, what are the things that you would think would have mattered now and what won't have mattered? Because focusing on the things that really matter can help us live a more fulfilling life. And when we realize the things that probably won't matter years from now, then maybe now we can work on eliminating those things so that they're not such a large part of our lives. I mean, I doubt that many people 30 years from now will be like, you know, I really just wish I spent more time mindlessly scrolling on Instagram. I know I wouldn't. I think that now. At the end of the day, I think, wow, I spent way too much time doing that. All right, and then this page is actually a new one, and you can see here where it goes back to that cultivated life evaluation. It has the color coding and the categories along here. But it allows you to write the big picture vision for each of these categories. And then on this side, you can actually write out how you want to live it this year. So I like this as like a preliminary thing for goals. It kind of starts giving you an idea of, if these things matter, then what are some things I can do to make them more important in my life? And how can I live that out? And so it just gets you started thinking about some of the actions that you can take throughout the year to focus on the things that matter the most. The next page is also one that has been in the previous years. This is the what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. Again, I think this is really helpful for realizing the things that we know aren't working, or the things that we wish we weren't doing as much or we're doing more of. So this can definitely help us as we try to figure out a focus for the new year and just be more intentional about choosing what we're going to spend our time on. And the next page is imagining your intentional year. This almost works like a fill in the blank, and it references back to some of the other pages that you've filled in. So it kind of gives you an overall view of what you might want your next year to look like. This is something that they've actually added in this year. The page itself is a little similar to what they had last year, but then they added in this page about types of goals. And this is what I was talking about in the sticker book with the, let's see if I can find them, these stickers. You can see that these icons match up with these. So you have habits, finish lines, and big dreams. And so there are 3 different types of goals that you want to set. And each of the things that you want to do will fall into one of these categories in some way. But knowing what type of goal it is can help you know the types of actions that you should take to accomplish that goal. And then down here again, you see we have these categories with their colors and a section for each of the 3 types of goals. So the habits, the finish lines, and the big dreams. And you can kind of brainstorm which types of goals you might need in these areas. So maybe some of your goals will need a habit goal, and some of them are just a big dream. But again, this can help you to narrow down the goals that you will want to set. And then over here you have a little bit more information about that, and it just gives you some examples of types of goals that would fit into each category. So they have a friends section and then the health and wellness just as an example. Then over here you have some space where you can write down a rough draft of your yearly goals. Last year they gave you this full page to write on, and this year they have some like tips to think about as you're doing it. I'm kind of torn whether I like this or not. I do like the extra instruction and education type things, but I feel like it took away space right here that I might have wanted to use for my rough draft. I may end up doing my rough draft on regular paper just because I tend to like to write a lot and then I narrow it down as I go. I just don't know if this is enough room to write the whole rough draft of the things that I might want. On the other hand, it could be good because maybe it requires you to keep it simple. So maybe having less space is a good thing. And then here is your yearly goals page. I'm not going to call it the final draft because obviously our goals change all the time. But this is the page of the prep work where you write down your yearly goals. They have space for 8 goals. You obviously don't have to set that many, but they do recommend that you keep it limited to 8. And honestly, if you're setting large goals, then that's probably a good idea. What I like to do for my yearly goals is I do it as kind of like a general overview of what I'd like to accomplish by the end of the year. And then my quarterly goals, I will break it down more to just make it more manageable and more actionable. While this might be something very general. I do love that here on the edge, they have, it's very faint, but they have space for the flags. So these are the same flags that are in the sticker book right here. And also they have some in the beginning on the sticker page. So there's a set right there. So you can color code your goals through that way too. I am glad that they didn't bring the color coding from this page, the Cultivated Life Evaluation. I'm glad that they didn't bring this same coloring over into here because you might have more than one goal in a specific category. And so this gives you the option to have multiple goals in one category instead of just doing one goal from each category that you might not need. So I like that they left the colors blank on this. The next page that you have is your word of the year and your vision board. One thing that's different from last year, and I can show it to you in the old one if I can find. Okay, so here's my vision board for last year. So obviously that's the same, one page for each one. But then on this page right here, they had a whole 2-page spread for your word of the year. And they had this beautiful large page where you could write out your word and write why you chose that word, and I thought that was really cool. I feel like it just made it really special to have this full page. While here, the only thing they have for the word of the year is a little line right here, and then you can brainstorm some words on this side. And maybe it's because they brought the word of the year card back, and so they figure you're gonna keep that outside of your power sheets, which is fine because that would help you to look at it more if you posted it somewhere else. But they definitely cut down on the amount of space that you have to reflect upon your word of the year. And the vision board is one of my favorite things, so I'm glad that they left that in there. This next page is new too. On this side, they're just talking about setting mini goals and how it's better to take small steps because the small steps will add up over time and lead to greater progress than feeling like you need to just do all of these big things at once. And so then it gives you a little space to reflect of where you have seen little by little progress in your life. And then on this page, it's turning challenges into opportunities. So it gives you some examples of some challenges that you might be facing and some ways that you can turn those around and make them opportunities in your life instead. And then you have a little spot here to journal about that. Think about how you can actually put that into action in your life and in your goals. And then we get into the goal action plans. These are really similar to last year. I think the only thing that's really very different is that on this side, they bring in those categories and the types of goals again. So you have here the habit, the finish line, and the big dream. And then here you have those same categories: health and wellness, friends, finances, personal growth, vocal relationship, family, work, and recreation. If your goals are falling into these categories, I can see how that's really helpful. Honestly, my goals will be what my goals are regardless of what the categories are that they set. And so this may work for some and it may not work for some of my other goals. But you can just see how they're tying this type of thing into the whole planner. And then you just have a space here to break down your goals. It says you can use it for notes, brainstorming, mini goals, or action ideas, or sketching a plan for the next 12 months. So really, you can use this space however you want to focus on that specific goal. So I love having blank note space to just use however I want. So I think that's a really important feature of the goal action plan, is just having space that people can use any way they want. So you get 8 of these. You'll have 8 different action plans for each of your goals. And then at the end of it, let's see, you have a yearly overview. And this is almost identical to the one last year. You have space for each month to plan out what you might be doing during that month. I actually like to do this just a quarter at a time instead of trying to plan out my whole year, because things change and goals change, and so you never know what's going to be happening at the end of the year. So I tend to just do it 3 months at a time. The only thing that I know of that they changed on this page, they may have changed some of the text, but these titles, they used to say quarter 1, quarter 2, now they say season. And so that's the main difference I can find on this page. And then here you have 2 pages that you can use for whatever you want. They mentioned that you can use them for wildcard pages. And so if you've purchased that set, or if you wanted to just go on the website and download them, then you can put those onto these pages. Otherwise, you can use them for whatever you want. And then we get into the months. So January is a little bit different than the other months. It starts off with the same page that all the other months will have, which I love this page. This is actually one of the most helpful pages I have for prepping my goals each month. Then you have a monthly calendar, which, to be honest, I kind of ignore this. I know there's tons of things you can do with it. I just never get around to it. If I do think of something, I love the idea of it being in here. I love the idea of scheduling out when you're going to work on certain tasks for certain goals, or using it as a gratitude journal, or something good that happened each day, or a way that you progressed each day. There's tons of things you can do with it. You could even just use it as your normal calendar, and if a monthly calendar is all you need, then your Power Sheets could be your full planner. For me, that's not the case, and so my monthly calendar just tends to stay blank. This is the page that's different in January that you won't find in any of the other months. It just gives you a little bit more ideas about how to make a tending list. And something new that they added was the first month of the new year, and just gives you some ideas of some of the things that you could do at the beginning of the year just to start it off well. And then we get into the monthly tending list and brainstorm. So here is where you can brainstorm out your actual goals. And then on the tending list, you choose the ones that you've selected, and you can mark your progress as you go along. These are pretty similar to what they've done in past years. They did add those categories down here each month just to mark the ones that you're working on that month. And then the other change that I've noticed is that in between each of the weeks here, they did add some space, which honestly last year they just had a more bold line, and I thought that was fine, but whatever, it doesn't affect me either way. But that's just a change that you'll notice from last year. And then at the end of each month, you have a month in review that you can fill out. They do have boxes around each one. They're pretty light. I can show you last year. This is what it looked like, where it had colored boxes over each day. These ones are a lot more toned down. You can barely see them. They're pretty light. But there are boxes around each of those. So that's something that has changed from last year. And then each month after that will be the same for the most part. You have February and March that have the same pages in them. And then when you get to April, you get your first quarterly refresh. So each of the refreshes will be different, and they'll have them in April, July, and October. So the first month of each quarter will have this refresh at the beginning of it. And I love these flowers. I think they're really pretty. So in the refresh, the first thing you have is another Cultivated Life evaluation check-in, where you can just go through and evaluate each of the categories. You can re-rate them if that's what you choose to do. Here you have some prep work refreshes. This one is what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to. Just give you a chance to go back to some of the things that were covered in the prep work and just remember the things that are important. Here's where you get to refresh your goals. There's some space for reflection here that you can kind of look at the goals that you've had, what's going well, and what needs to change. And then you have another page to do your new goals for the next quarter. You also have a space down here at the bottom for a word. If you decide to change your word every quarter, then you can put your new word down here. This is different from last year. In the last year quarterly refreshes, they had more space. So I will show you. Hold on. Okay, so last year they had this space for each of the new goals. So for all of your refreshed goals, you had a space that you could put it and the mini goal that you wanted to work on that quarter, and then you had some space for action steps. What I loved about this was that you had specific space for each of your goals that you were working on. This year, this is all you get. This is the space that you have to plan out and break down your goals for the next quarter. So that was actually a little disappointing to me. I feel like the goals would get really lost and jumbled up together, just having them all in the same spot. And so I really miss that they had those individual breakdowns. And then after that, you just go into your normal monthly pages that are in every month. So that's the end of April. And then you have your July refresh, your October refresh, and then there's December. At the end of December, you have a little You Did It page at the end. And then you have the 2022 year in review. I do like that on this page, they broke it down into months. So last year it was just one big blank page. This year, every single month has its own space. And so I like that you could, throughout the year, go through and add in highlights from each month. And then there's some other reflection here where you can just write down things like your favorite memory, your best meal, a milestone celebrated, things like that, just to celebrate the end of the year. And then that's the end of the planner. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope this was helpful in giving you a better idea about what's in the new Power Sheets. Again, if you have any questions, please leave them in the description box below. I'd love to help you with anything that you want to know before launch. I will link to all of these in the description below. If you check them out before October 6th, they won't be available to purchase yet. I'm not sure what time it goes live. I want to say it's 10 a.m. Eastern, but I'm not positive on that. I'll leave a correction somewhere if I find out the actual time. If you like this video, I'd love it if you liked and subscribed and did all the things. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.